Today we're going to start section L, the final section, test 2. So sustainability and social responsibility. The task is design, develop, and execute a sustainability and/or social responsibility program for the organization and suppliers. Diversity and sustainability. So workforce diversity addresses the composition of internal teams or your internal workforce. Supplier diversity addresses the composition of external supply chain. Sustainability and social responsibility has processes that address internal behaviors, so a different approach that addresses external behaviors. This section discusses external sustainability and social responsibility behaviors, i.e. supply chain sustainability. Here's corporate sustainability. You got things like climate change. You got to worry about resource management, local environmental protection, corporate governance, ethics, business and compliance, health and safety, values-based and performance-led culture, the community surrounding the organization, and risk management. And there's these 3 major sections: our people and communities, business practices, and low carbon and circular economy. So sustainability means current needs without sustainability means meeting current needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In addition to natural resources, society also needs social and economic resources. So sustainability has come to include social responsibility or corporate social responsibility activities as well. Embedded in most definitions of sustainability, there are also aspects of social equity and economic development. Economic development factors. So this is all about economic development, business attraction, retention, and expansion. To do that, you need to educate and train the workforce. You need some infrastructure, science and technology. You're going to have high concentration. You need some environmental standards, and you're going to need small business development and more infrastructure like utilities, economic development plans, and export promotion. Diversity and sustainability. So social responsibility or corporate social responsibility is a self-regulating business model that helps a company be socially accountable to itself, its stakeholders, and the public. So sustainability and social responsibility have emerged as a component of corporate ethics in response to perceived public discontent over the long-term damage caused by a focus on short-term profits. So these kind of things make up social responsibility: values, commitment, integrity, charity, partnership, sensitivity, honesty, collaboration, and green initiatives. So sustainability, social responsibility, and ethics all can be grouped under the environmental, social, and governance framework. ES&G, which is another buzzword. Not as popular as DEI these days, but it's been around. An environmental factor is one which affects the natural landscape. A social factor is one which will affect the people in the area. And a governance factor is one that affects how companies interact with its stakeholders. So governance has got inclusive, community, employees. Social has got ethics, taxes, environmental, natural resources, waste, climate. So here's a little map on climate change and human health. So climate change, stratospheric ozone depletion leads to biodiversity loss and ecosystem function, which is decline in several ecosystem services. UV exposure is not good for human health. Also induces climate change. Climate change in turn induces desertification, and land degradation. Land becomes more arid. Agroecosystem productivity goes down, population displacement because they can't grow anything in sand, and freshwater decline, altered participation, less rain, precipitation, altered precipitation. So this is kind of an interesting little map. Corporate social responsibility. Companies' values are at the center, which are goals, resources, and market position. They all affect the company's values. Business activities are on this line around here. And then stakeholder engagement on the outside circle. I guess business activities is the inside circle. Goals, resources, and market participation. And then these are the stakeholder engagement issues. Supply chain localization. Well, one of these days, this thing will actually pull up. So this is an article by Inside Supply Management, ISM, on supply chain localization. Come on. 3 pages long. There you go. Defining corporate governance. So the flow of responsibility. Corporate governance defines the relationship between the ownership as typified by the shareholders and corporate management. The board of directors are the wielders of supervisory authority vested by the shareholders, who in turn give the mandate for running the organization to the management headed by the CEO. So that's how responsibility works. The flow of responsibility defines business operations and reporting. So corporate governance deals with the governing systems of an organization, which are these. It's a method by which companies are directed and managed. So corporate governance has 4 pillars: accountability, transparency, responsibility, and fairness. And these are the fundamental pillars of corporate governance. And then the one that's been in the news: diversity, equity, and inclusion. DEI, essentially a part of corporate social responsibility. It's not really a standalone thing. It's part of CSR. DEI is sometimes referred to as DE&I or IE&D. DEI is any policy or set of initiatives that's designed to make people of various backgrounds feel welcome and ensure that they have support to perform in the workplace. Diversity is the presence of differences within a given setting. So in the workplace, that can mean differences in race or ethnicity or gender identity, sexual orientation, age, and socioeconomic class. So diversity of people and perspectives, equity in policy and practice, and inclusion of all voices and visions. That's all DEI is. So equity is the process of ensuring that practices and programs are impartial, fair, and provide equal possible outcomes for every individual. No favoritism. Inclusion is the practice of ensuring that people feel a sense of belonging in the workplace. This means that every employee feels comfortable and supported by the organization when it comes to being their authentic selves. And what the unconscious practice in hiring is that we hire somebody that is like us. So you have to be aware of that. We want to affiliate with those people that are more like us or look like us. Risk, contractual. Some environmental risks transcend contractual terms. So a generator of toxic or hazardous waste that hires an organization to haul away and dispose of the material cannot escape liability, even if the contract specifies that the disposal organization assumes full responsibility for compliance with environmental standards. In the US and Europe, you create it, you own it forever. Insurance may provide some protection for the buying organization. So insurance policies must be carefully negotiated because general indemnity and premises liability policies often exclude environmental issue coverage. Alternatively, the buying organization could require the supplier to carry insurance in indemnification policies. The transfer of environmental risk remains a risky proposition. You can't really transfer all of it. There is little case law supporting release of a party from liability. Insurance may mitigate and a hold harmless cause can offer the potential of recovery, but there are no legal guarantees that a buying organization will escape environmental cleanup liability. Safety laws in many countries impose a responsibility on the employer to ensure that safety at work for all employees, and employers should take reasonable actions and guarantee the safety, health, and welfare of their employees at work. So these laws have come around mostly since World War II in the US. When they were building the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco during the early Depression, around 1932 or so, they were not required to wear any kind of safety equipment when they were working on the high wires and the high girders, and guys used to fall off and die. And because it was during the Depression, they had a line waiting to take their place. It was known as the vulture line. Environmental liability follows ownership of CERCLA. The owner or generator cannot escape liability if toxic or hazardous material results in damages or injuries to others. Further, what was once a legal means of disposal for toxic and hazardous waste materials may not remain legal in the future. An organization's reputational risk tolerance, steps to identify organizations' reputational risk tolerance are identify key stakeholders, identify factors that drive the relationship between stakeholders and the organization, and then identify a point at which the organization's reputation can be considered damaged. Material assessment, use the following steps. Identify stakeholders, identify major sustainability and social responsibility indicators, align the indicators with the stakeholder requirements, conduct a survey in order to rank the indicators on importance and impact, and then create a ranking matrix, graph survey results in a matrix. Axes should be things like influence that stakeholders have over the indicator and significance of the sustainability of the indicator. ISM principles of sustainability and social responsibility. So ISM defines the sustainability as the ability to meet current needs without hindering the ability to meet the needs of future generations in terms of economic, environment, and social challenges. Social responsibility is the commitment by a business to act ethically and create benefit for the workforce, the local community, and society. And ISM has developed the following principles of sustainability and social responsibility. And they update these from time to time. This is the latest edition. Looks like this cover. And then what you have are these: anti-corruption, diversity, inclusion, environment, ethics, financial integrity, global citizenship, health and safety, human rights, labor rights, supply chain sustainability, and transparency. And it goes into each one. So here they are again, the 11 different principles of sustainability and social responsibility from ISM. Customer-driven requirements. Often the organization may be subject to contractual terms stipulated by customers, which may be applicable to subcontracts that purchasing initiates. So reporting ES&G activities is important for investors, as these activities can impact revenue, costs, and risk. Organizations such as Bloomberg, the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, The FTSE4Good have voluntary questionnaires for companies to provide investors with information on ES&G activities in a standardized way. And ES&G activities are important to customers and can consequently impact a company's brand, especially if you're a consumer company or consumer services. Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, organization that provides business with a common global language to communicate sustainability impacts. So GRI provides the world's most widely used standards for sustainability reporting and gains sustainability reporting expertise with a full range of reports. So this is the GRI website here. And you can look through it. EcoVadis is an organization that gathers information on more than 65,000 companies and allows them to share ES&G information and sustainability and social responsibility performance with each other. So EcoVadis and GRI enable companies to communicate performance and industry, company size, etc. EcoVadis has remained the best practices of procurement organizations that increase their value creation by rethinking their sustainability and social responsibility programs. And many companies now have annual reports on ES&G activities called non-financial performance reports, which are used by legal entities such as government agencies, customers, and non-governments. I know PACCAR reports it in their annual financial reports. They have a section on it. Here's EcoVadis. And compliance requirements, best practices for sustainability, social responsibility, and ethics functions should be self-regulating business models that help a company be socially and sustainability accountable. The three functions should have external advocacy groups to advance them. So best practices, educate practitioners, track performance. These three functions require compliance with applicable laws, regulations, and customer requirements. And the processes also require clear, accurate, and appropriate reporting. All right. All of the following are categories of ISM's principles of social responsibility, except which one isn't? Ethics certainly is, health is, and safety is, I think. So maybe it's either safety or community. I think it might be safety. Let's see here. C, health. Okay. That's not one of the principles from ISM. Which of the following listed below is not one of the fundamental pillars of corporate governance? Fairness, accountability, and transparency all sound good. Economic development is something we want, but I don't think it's a pillar of corporate governance. Yeah. It's part of corporation social responsibility, not a part of its corporate governance. All right. Let's pick up some summary. Supply chain professionals should use critical success factors and best practices in supplier diversity to advance sustainability and social responsibility in their corporation's supply chain by recognizing process similarities between the two disciplines. As workforce diversity addresses the composition of internal teams and supplier diversity addresses the composition of external supply chain, sustainability and social responsibility has processes that address internal behaviors and different approaches that address external supplier behaviors. Sustainability means meeting current needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Embedded in most definitions of sustainability, there are also aspects of social equity and economic development. Economic, social, and governance, otherwise known as ES&G framework, which determines how corporations perform as a steward of nature while managing relationships with shareholders and stakeholders. Okay, let's go get some questions here. Questions for L1. Okay. Go ahead and work on them. We'll go over answers in a minute. Yeah, we only got 5 today. All right. Answer number 1 is Charlie. Number 2 is also Charlie. Number 3 is Bravo. Number 4 is Charlie. And number 5 is Alpha. All right, L2 tomorrow.